Hello everybody, it's Nym and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a new episode of our reptile zoo. Today we are building a giant panda habitat, and the emphasis is on the word giant because this habitat is freaking enormous. It is a walkthrough habitat, which obviously I know that giant pandas can't actually share a habitat with humans, so there's a pathway going through the habitat. And then, it's sheltered off so that guests can walk through it and the pandas can't get to the guests. But you will see that once we actually get done with the pathing. Something I'm very excited for, which is next week. Next week, a new pack is coming out. It's an East Asia pack. Personally, I was hoping for, a European pack. That's purely biased because I live in Europe and I would love to have some more European animals that actually live where I'm from. But you know what, an East Asia pack is fine as well, and I'm sure European pack will come later this year. I hope at least, which I'm sure they'll do that. So with this new pack, there will be seeing 8 new species in the game. I have a list of what they will probably be. Obviously, we know the sun bear. We have the clouded leopards. We have the big nose monkey. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. It is the proboscis monkey. If I'm corrected, then we have the Malayan tapir, which I'm guessing is related to the normal tapir we already have in the game, and probably they will be able to share habitats, I hope. Then we have the North Sulawesi Babiruasa. I have no clue what that is actually. Let me just check what it is. That's a kind of hippo, I'm guessing. I'm not really sure. Or a kind of rhino. I think it is like a combination between a rhino and a hippo. I have absolutely no clue about those animals. And then we have a binturong, which I have no clue what it is as well. And there is no picture on the Planet Zoo Wikipedia, so let me just quickly search Google. Apparently that is a weird, I don't know what it is, a cat-like martyr, whatever. And then we have the Usuridol, which is, from what I understand, a dog-like animal. Which again, I'm not quite sure about, but I think that's it. If you look at the picture, kind of reminds me of a dingo tiny bit. And then we also have a new, obviously new exhibit animal, which is the giant Malaysian leaf insect. Again, I have no idea what it looks like because I'm totally not familiar with Asian animals or Asia in general. But in my mind, which is probably very wrong, but in my mind it kind of reminds me of a walking branch. I used to have that when I was in school, when I was 11 in the kindergarten, like primary school. We have walking branches and we have to take care of them, which I always really liked. So that's for the new pack. It is coming out on the March 30th this year, which will be next week. And we're very excited for it. It's very good news. It is very good. I can't wait, to be honest. Very excited. Obviously, this pack is already in my wish list on Steam, and if you haven't already, make sure you do it because I think this will be an amazing pack. Obviously, I haven't seen anything of it. Unfortunately, I'm not giving primary access, which honestly I really wish I would. Not because, I'm a great content creator, because I'm really curious and, I'm a bit of a good content creator, if I say so myself. But mostly because I just really want it and I'm kind of excited for it and I can't wait. So I think we've talked enough about this expansion. Like, we've talked about this expansion for almost 5 minutes now. And if you want any, ideas or, more information about the expansion, I'm going to link the trailer in the description down below if I remember to do that. Probably won't, but I'll try to remember. And you can see it there, Planet Zoos on Twitter as well and on Reddit, very active there. So if you want any more information, go there, go to the, the normal channels. And let's get into the actual talking about the video and what we are actually doing today. So today we are making a habitat for our giant panda. And here we are, beginning to shelter the entire pathway, which the same thing we did also with the leopard, the jaguars, and also what we did with the night house of the tapir. So we are just putting on the trend because this is actually connected to the night out of the taper. I don't know if you saw that. I believe I already showed that. Yeah, it's like connected there. So I wanted to put this theme, you know, and I actually quite like the way it actually turns out. I'm actually quite happy with it. And here we are doing what we did with the giant gorilla as well. We are just placing some rocks and we are making sure that it actually is all connected and well, you know, all connected, you know, it has like this ongoing theme in the zoo. Because you don't just have loose habitats, because sometimes, I say sometimes, my other zoos, they are mostly connected by, oh look, this is an Asia theme, oh look, this is Africa, look, this is Europe, and this is the Arctic, like something like that. And build styles, they're almost never really connected with each other. And I wanted to do that, so here I am doing that. And I'm actually really happy with how it turns out. It's always with all these leaves. I don't remember the name of these plants, but I absolutely love them. And I'm moving soon, like in 12 weeks, so 3 months. And I have this giant balcony, and I really like to put like these plants on there, which I'm not actually sure if that's allowed, but I hope it is because they're so pretty. Obviously, like, I'm terrible with plants in real life and they'll probably die, but whatever, that's like a conversation to have another time. So here we are making the first part of, you know, sectioning off the actual pathway, which didn't turn out the way I wanted to. Actually, I just wanted to do these rocks, but turns out they somehow were able to get on here, and I don't know how. So you'll see me placing rocks, and then I figured out it didn't work. You know, I initially wanted to do this with glass, but the glass didn't actually work. It was very ugly, like you could see all the borders there, and then I tried to do borderless glass, but it didn't match together, and it was just, it was so ugly. So, you know, we can't have that. So we had to choose something else. I'm like, you know what, we already have all these rocks, so let's just do that. And yeah, you can see me checking for traversable area a lot in this video. I tried to cut most of it out, but sometimes I just oversee it, or like I don't oversee it anymore. And sometimes it's left in by accident, so apologies, it can happen, but you know, whatever, we're all human after all. At least I am. I don't know what you are, but I'm human. And if you're alien trying to eat me, please don't. I'm very nice. And here we are filling up the last gaps, and then in between the actual, you know, aquatic pack rocks, we are gonna put some glass in there, just like we did with the gorillas. And I actually really like that method. It's not something I want to do throughout the entire zoo, but it is something I want to do maybe on other walk or, you know, walk through habitats. Can't even find my words. What the heck? Whoa. And, you know, filling up more gaps. And I thought this was the end of my traversable area problem with you know, putting the glass in there. It was not. It really wasn't. And, you know, in the end, like, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna change this entire thing, because this took me almost an hour with all the, you know, the placing of the beams above the pathway, then all the rock work, and then these rocks, and then the glass putting in there. It is such a tedious work, and I cut most of it out, like, honestly I did, because it's just insane. And here, you know, putting the glass, and after that they could still somehow walk in there. So what do? You buy elephant grass, and you just put elephant grass all around, and I mean all around. Every single opening you put a bunch of elephant grass there. And it didn't work. Turns out there was this tiny little spot, like on the left of our screen right now, which I did last. If I had done that bit first, it would have all been done with one elephant grass bit. But I didn't. I went throughout the entire habitat, which is enormous, as you could see, like from the cinematics, and you will see in the end cinematics, and you can probably see if I zoom out a bit. It was enormous, and it was such a tedious work, because you don't want to just put grass there, like, very obviously. You want to blend it in a little bit, make it look good, which I believe I actually did a quite decent job of. I mean, not there, because that's a bit blech, but you know what I mean. And I'm actually really happy with the way it turns out. And then, you know, you check the traversable area, and it's still walkable, and you're like, why? And then, you know, you find this little tiny spot where you forgot it. And that's all the work for, basically, well, not for nothing because it looked nice in the end. But you know what I mean? Like, it's such a long work. And if you just done that at the beginning, it would have been fine. But oh well. So we fixed the problem with the traversable area. The animals can't go on the walkway anymore. And now we are building this. I wanted to build a log cabin. I'm very bad at building log cabins, I figured. It is quite ugly. You can judge me for that. I judge myself for this very hard because I really don't like the way it looks. But it's fine. We're fine. It's all good. It's not all good, but you know what? We're just dealing with it. And that's all we can do. In the end, it looks awful. I'm well aware of that. I don't know how to do it better though, because I've never actually seen anything made of logs. So for me, it's just, a bit of a square rectangular shape and then put some beams in there and then it should be fine. Which is always my idea. But, sometimes that never works. Oh well. It is what it is, and I wanted to make it they have a sleeping area downstairs and also one upstairs, but for some odd reason the top part is not traversable area, and I don't know why, because it should be. Maybe the animals will walk on there, I don't know. I thought maybe it was something to do with the wall actually, but it didn't. So they have a sleeping area underneath. I don't know why they can't go up there, because they can climb there. I'm like, why can't you just walk there? Enough about that. It's frustrating. I'm just putting some, in case they do go up there. I just wanted to put some hay and some leaves there, which I'm actually really proud of, because the combination looks so good. It's weird to say I'm proud of that, but the combination, mwah. Very, very good combination wise, really, really like that. And here we are, finishing up the finishing up the log cabin, making sure that it looks a little bit more exciting than it did. It didn't get any better than this, I'm afraid. I'm gonna put some plants on there in a minute, and we are gonna put a glass roof, because otherwise it looked very, very, wooden, and I didn't really want that. And in the end, it is what it is, and you can't make it any better than this. At least I can't. I tried, and I did this before, for another habitat, not in this zoo, but in one of my early stages of Planet Zoo. I wanted to build an entire home with these log cabins or logs, and I wanted to build a log cabin. I can't do it. I don't understand how people can do it. I can't. It's very frustrating for me, because I see a lot of people doing it perfectly, but I guess that's maybe because they live around, the woods, and where log cabins are actually a thing. And in my country, they're not a thing. They're like a thing where you go on holiday, you're like, oh, I stayed in a log cabin. And we're like, ooh, that's so eccentric. How was it? Wasn't it cold? I live in that kind of country. So, and in order to nicing it up, we are just putting some plants down at the moment. And I didn't even know that this was a good idea or not. I'm not sure, even still at the end. I'm not sure if I like it. I'm not sure if I don't like it. I'm really not sure what to think of it at all. So luckily, you will see that later, we are building another sleeping area with some rocks, which looks a lot more natural and a lot better if you ask me. Of course, if you ask me, it is my building, so obviously you are going to ask me, but you know what I mean. Also, if I'm silent sometimes, I'm drinking my tea, because I have tea now, which is very nice. I like tea. Still not the tea I want, because the tea I want is currently not available because of Brexit. I order my tea from the UK, and because of Brexit, they don't temporarily deliver in Europe, which sucks, to be honest. And I can't go into England, because then I need to be quarantined for 2 weeks. And I have a job, and even if I didn't have a job, 2 weeks of quarantine, I don't want to say it's not worth my tea, because I'm crazy enough to do it, but I can't be bothered to pay for a hotel for 2 weeks just for a £5 bag of tea. I really can't. I'm sorry. So here we are doing some of the terrain work, which I remembered, because terrain work is important. And we do have one of the animals, the tap open to make sure that the terrain is actually the way they like it. And even though, I said oh, I don't care about animal rights in this zoo, obviously in general I do care about that. But in this zoo I don't, because it is my creation. I love pandas so much that I just wanted to give them something that they would really appreciate and enjoy. And I also decided like they need a lot of soil. Personally, I don't like a lot of soil, so I decided to make the pathway soil. And luckily, like very luckily, that counts actually towards the terrain. Because I wasn't sure because, you know, it is a path and I was like, oh, should that count? Doesn't it count? But it does count, which helps me out a lot. We are going to use the hard soil though, not the dark one. I love that it's a little bit better. The other one is good for, you know, little paths, but not for an entire pathway. Because, you know, a lot of people are actually going to walk on here. Even though at the moment there are only 22 guests in the zoo, that's because I closed the zoo, because the zoo is so big. It is going to be Mega Zoo. I believe we have filled up about 1/4 of the map with this habitat included. And if we have, you know, the zoo before I closed it had about 7,000 to 9,000 guests. I believe we were at 87,000, 7,800 guests, which is quite insane, and you don't want that. And at least I can have that in your zoo, but not on my computer. My computer can't handle that. So we needed to close the zoo because I don't know how to restrict my visitors. I know that you can do that, but I don't know how. So I came up with a creative alternative. Just close the zoo, and when the entire zoo is finished, I will open it to the public, and then we'll do our zoo tour with the guests. We'll see how that works. But you know, that is a lot of prediction work because, you know, this zoo will not be done for a long time, especially with the new Southeast Asia pack, because this zoo is a tropical zoo, and in my mind, like I never actually I've spoken about it, but never actually gave a clear answer. In my mind, it was always somewhere in, you know, Sri Lanka or Tanzania, you know, countries like that. Even though I would love to say, oh, it's in Japan, there are zero Japanese, you know, architecture present in the zoo. So yeah, we are gonna do the Japanese macaque though, because those are one of my favorite animals. And once the actual Southeast Asia pack is out, and I have time to record a video, I might pre-record 1 or 2 videos. But, you know, perhaps we have time, we will do a habitat for the nose monkey. Or the leopard, I'm not quite sure, but I'm guessing I'll go with the nose monkey because I really think that monkey is quite funny. Which is probably awful, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but it always reminds me a little bit of Squidward from SpongeBob. And I can't help it, like whenever I see him, like, oh yeah, it's the Squidward monkey. And in my mind, that's really funny. So I want to build him a really nice habitat, quite big as well. I hope it's like guests can walk through it. I'm not quite sure actually, but we'll see. But for now, let's focus on actually putting these rocks down. You know, I want to do something different here. You know, obviously we have the waterfall, but I wanted to make a little bit of a platform. But I didn't want to do that of rocks or anything, so I was like, oh, you know what? I'm actually gonna do it with these planks, and I believe these are either the Asia planks or the Australian planks. I don't believe they're the Australian. I think they're the Asian planks. I used to say, like, I have a friend of mine, he is from Taiwan, and he moved to England, and I used to say when I was like a teenager, I met him, and I used to say Asia. Like we played Guild Wars 2 and I couldn't pronounce Asia, so I called it ancient, which is really weird. You know, perks of being foreign. Let's just leave it at that. Like, the funny thing is, like, he is actually from Asia, so it was quite funny for him. I think, like, this is a story you had to be there. I don't know, maybe some of my friends that are watching, they know who I'm talking about, you know. His name starts with an R. I learned a lot about video games from him. We used to play Guild Wars 2, which is actually an amazing game if you haven't played it. I'm not sure if it's worth buying now because the player base is pretty much dead. I used to play that when I was like 15 until I was 19, I believe. And I loved it so much, and I made so much gold in money in that game. If only it was real money. But that was like the initial game where I started, gaming. Obviously, I've played The Sims before that, and Delta Force, Call of Duty with my brother on the Xbox, stuff like that. But real PC games, Guild Wars 2, besides The Sims, was my first actual game. And I spent most of the game creating characters in the create a character screen because I like that so much. Oh well, that's I love to create a sim in The Sims 2 because I couldn't build. And in The Sims 2, I always did create a sim and play, and obviously the play thing. The story, well, not the story, just the playing of the game. And in The Sims 3, my computer couldn't handle The Sims 3. The only thing it could handle was the CAS, so to create a sim, and after that, it always crashed. So we used to play that as well. And then Sims 4 I built, but I love creating characters. That's one of my perks. Anyways, I'm way off topic again, which is, I feel like these videos are like a half an hour of talking gibberish for me, and you guys are just, looking at the screen and you're like, oh, what is she on about now? Whatever, she's creating pretty neat stuff sometimes, so we're watching. But I don't really think anyone is here listening to my stories. If you are, could you tell me in the comments pretty please? Because, sometimes I have a feeling I am talking to literally no one or just to myself. Which, if that were, I'm fine with that. I don't really care because, I'm not just gonna put music under a video. That's something I don't want to do, and I see a lot of people doing that. But for me, it's not an art to talk a lot because I've always talked a lot. But I always feel like it's kind of fun. Especially sometimes when you can explain what you're actually doing. Which obviously I'm not doing now because I've explained this process 100 times. Like, I placed the waterfall. Which actually, with the new waterfall, it's a lot easier. And it looks better as well. The giant waterfalls in this map, they look amazing as well. But these tiny ones are perfect for little tiny water areas, which I actually really like, and I'm really in love with the way this looks. And I believe, actually, guys, that I forgot my points already, but I believe we are near the end of this video. I believe we have like a minute, perhaps a minute and a half left. So the last thing that we are doing right here now is, placing items, and that's it. So, like some palm trees and vegetation. So we're gonna talk for the last minute. In 3 weeks, 3 weeks, April 9th, my YouTube channel is 1 year old, and we are going to honor that occasion. It is on a Friday, so we are going to honor that occasion by perhaps, I'm not sure, should I do a stream? I could do a stream. You could let me know in the comments down below. And I want to do something special, so if you have any ideas to celebrate that, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see what I can do and what is doable. And if not, I'll think of something myself, but it will probably not be that awesome because I'm actually out of imagination. Can you imagine that? Me out of imagination? That's so weird. Like, sometimes it's really difficult to create stuff in Planet Zoo because I'm just, oh yeah, I'm gonna start this habitat and I have it in my mind and I can't put it on my screen. But I'm sure everyone has that. Anyways, guys, we are really near the end of this video, so if you have continued watching this until now, thank you so much. And maybe you've subscribed to this channel. Awesome. Maybe you haven't. Why not? I'm awesome, right? So go do that. Click subscribe. You can also hit the bell icon if you want. And you can like the video, you can comment on the video, you can share it with your friends, you can tell everyone, yo, go follow this girl, she's amazing. And I will see you on the next episode. Bye guys, and enjoy the cinematics.